Good morning, everyone, and welcome to what is the final online discussion under the banner of the Weekend Project. It's hard to believe that we are here at the end of the Weekend Project, but I am absolutely still positive because there is good news to come today. And as always, with anything in business, with anything in life, as something wraps up and new chapters start. So I'm absolutely thrilled that you've joined us here today. Thank you so much for being a part of this call. I was just joking that I'm pretty sure everyone has met me by now. But if you haven't, if this is your very first call, welcome. My name is Carrie, and I'm the project manager for the Weekend Project, which is led by Queen's University. And as many of you know, the reason we're on the call today is because Queen's funding comes to an end at the end of this month. And so I'm pretty sure everyone's aware of that. But if you were in the dark about that, that's why we're here. We're talking about what's next. And so, in addition to being a project manager, as many of you know, I'm a business owner, author, and speaker. And it has absolutely been a thrill and a delight to be a part of this Weekend Project for the past 6.5 years. Now, today is not going to be about reminiscing and hugs and tears because that's what May 29th is for at the end of the month. We actually have an in-person live hug fest that's going to happen at Pedalworks Cafe and Studio in Kingston. I know the owner, Martha, is on the call today. So that's what that's about. But today is really about asking ourselves, where do we go from here? What's next? And I'm actually, although this is bitter, it's also sweet because I'm very excited for what is coming next. So, just a quick one slide recap. Some of you may know some of this, but Weekend Project has been around for 6.5 years now. We started in January 2020, 3 months before the whole world changed. And so we have served and supported more, actually far more than 1,600 women entrepreneurs during that time because we went online. And so we were able to serve not only women in the Kingston and Quinte region, which has been our primary focus, but also, of course, women around the world who have attended our workshops and events. So speaking of events, I tallied that up the other day, more than 180 online workshops and live events to a lesser degree, but still, it's quite remarkable how many times we have done this Zoom thing now. And so, because we've done this a few times, some of you know that I always invite you to introduce yourselves in the Zoom chat. So let's just take a moment. If you'd like to do that, drop a note in there if you haven't already about where you're connecting from. What your business is. I'll give you some chances as well to offer some other thoughts as we go. But I just wanted to say that if you'd like to do that, feel free. And then, of course, more than 65 programs and services have been a part of Weekend. Weekend started as a government-funded project. It was a 3 year, that's why it's called a project, because it was meant to be there for 3 years. And so it started in January 2020, ended at the end of June 2023. We actually had a wrap-up party at that time, and we had some good news was that Queens was going to step in, and remarkably, Queens has funded this project for an additional 3 years. And I want to acknowledge that because Queens didn't have to do that. Queens really stepped up and saw the impact that was happening among women entrepreneurs and has been on board now for an additional 3 years, which extended that project to the full 6.5 years. Now, funding inevitably comes to an end. So the announcement today is not that Queens is continuing to fund this project. So let me be clear, spoiler alert, Queens funding is coming to an end. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, as we're going to hear. But I just wanted to give you a recap. This is as much as I'm going to do looking in the rear view mirror, okay? But this got us to where we are today. So what are we going to focus on today? We're going to touch on some next steps. We're going to talk about what were the results of the survey that we sent out, because that really did inform some ideas about what could be next for this Weekend community. Of course, it wouldn't be called the Weekend community, that belongs to Queens, but what would this look like as a community? Because we, the women of the community, are actually the community. We're going to shine a spotlight on some local programs and services that are funded. And so for the early stage businesses, perhaps those who can't afford other alternate forms of networks, we're going to shine a spotlight there, including some at Queens. We are actually going to introduce you as well to a new opportunity for all of you who are in the Kingston and Quinte region. And this has come from the grassroots, from the weekend community itself. You're going to hear from some of those folks today. The good news is this community is not being erased. It is not disappearing. It is going to continue in a bolder, more exciting format, I think, than ever before. And we're also, as you see, going to hear from some voices from the community who are going to be a part of that. And then, of course, we want to open that up to Q&A. With apologies, I'm not paying attention to the Zoom today, sorry, the chat, because I'm presenting. So usually I'm in that chat. I see that it's blowing up, but go ahead and answer each other's questions if there are questions, and we'll certainly have time for Q&A at the end. All right. Okay, so that weekend survey, some of you know that back in February when this announcement came down that the funding was no longer continuing from Queens, we put out a survey to say, interesting, what would a next format of this look like? Is there any interest in this robust and resilient community of women continuing to keep in touch? Is that something they even want? And so I captured just 3 quotes from that survey here that I think really reflects a much broader sentiment in the community. And I say that because we see these themes coming up over and over again. One of the quotes was, "WeCan connected us with the right people and resources at a critical stage in our growth." That idea of connecting and resource sharing has been vital in this weekend community. Another theme was, this is an incredibly empowering community. So from a personal growth development side of things, from a professional development side, I don't know if there's been another community, certainly that I've been a part of, that I've seen this type of response to just that personal growth and development happening. And by the way, if any of these resonate with you, feel free to drop something in the Zoom chat. Put an amen in there if you see something that makes sense to you. I can't read it all, but you're certainly welcome to interact with that Zoom chat. The last was, my business wouldn't be where it is today without WeCan. And I saw these words in a multiple formats, whether it was in the survey or anecdotal conversations, messages, and I received a ton of emails, as well as, of course, in our Facebook group. So these are sort of some themes that were emerging. And so as a visual learner, I took all the comments, I actually poured them into a word cloud. Some of you know I love a word cloud. And so I loved looking at this and just seeing what words were repeated over and over. So besides the word sad, because that word came up all the time because we were announcing the end, let's look at the more positive ones like gratitude, leadership, training, guidance, mentorship, coaching, inspiration, community, empowering, support. You can see the words there, and maybe some pop out at you that you actually have communicated to me. This is just one of the questions on the survey that I wanted to highlight, which was, what aspects of the WeCan project have been most valuable for you? And so I don't think it was a big surprise, but I do like to get sort of that validation of what is it that people found valuable, that for some of them, they've stuck around for 6.5 years. That's a long time. So networking was highlighted, coaching and mentorship, skill building workshops, masterminds, visibility and promotion, programs like the monthly goal setting circle, our women's speaking circle. And then there were a lot of people who just made one-off comments, things like the newsletter or Facebook group, resources, all sorts of other feedback. So based on a lot, and you can see we had 79 responses to that survey, plus I would say I've had dozens more conversations, plus probably over 100 more emails and messages. So from that, extracting, what were the 3 most valuable services? As you saw, probably networking emerged number 1, coaching number 2, skill building number 3, maybe interchangeable there. But those were important to know, because if this was going to continue in any format led by any one particular person, it was important to know what was, valuable. So this is a chance for you to sort of reflect. Most of you, I would say, who are on this call have been a part of the WeCan community. What was most valuable to you? Maybe you want to put that into the Zoom chat, share that with us. We'll have some chance as well for some discussion a little bit later. But why don't you just sort of reflect, maybe respond, I will try to get in. Oh, I can access the Zoom chat. That's great. So think about that. If you want it, even in one word, what is something that has been helpful to you? And I'll let you sort of reflect on that, um, not just now, but throughout the rest of the presentation as well. What is the thing that stands out for you as sort of being, yeah, that was kind of pivotal. That was something that made a difference. Um, yeah, I love it. Uh, yeah, cool. So keep sharing those if there's something there that comes to your mind as we ask that question. And I'll just continue on. So one of the individuals that I had a conversation with made this comment to me, and it was worth highlighting, which was that she said, Carrie, weekend has never been free. People don't realize it's never been free. It's always been funded. And I thought that was an excellent mind shift as we are kind of leaving behind this funding that we have relied on for 6.5 years. The federal government through the Weekend Project initially put $3.7 million into the Weekend Project. Queens itself has poured hundreds of thousands into the Weekend Project. Weekend has never been free. It has always been funded. And so now, today, as we're shifting or thinking about what's next, I want us to keep that in mind because there are certainly funded programs, and I want to introduce you to some of those now. But as we're going to hear, funded programs typically are for early stage businesses, new, folks who are just they're in the idea phase. But when we hit the growth phase of our business, it's really time to make that transition to say, if I'm going to be the CEO of my business, what am I going to have to invest in terms of me continuing to have a network that is sustainable? Because here's the thing with funding. Spoiler alert, it always ends. Have you found that? Like even the next programs that I'm going to talk to you about, I was speaking with many of them, and I won't highlight the particular one who said this, but she said, since I have been here in this funded program, community service, my budget has been slashed by 85%. 85%. So I want to, though, share some of the organizations that are out there right now. We want to shine a spotlight on ones that you can continue to access quote unquote free services, funded services from. And let's just give you a little bit of a taste of what that is, especially if you are an early stage business, less than 2 years in business. Okay, so many of you are familiar with the Queen's Business Law Clinic. That continues to exist. And in the past, we would recommend you to them or refer you to them directly. Now you can still access them through their website. You will, however, of course, have to prove financial need. And that's a little bit of a difference because weekend clients were kind of grandmothered into KBLC. I want to say you had a easy entry. So it's a little bit different now, but that's okay. It's still available. Excellent services. Queen's Research Partnerships and Innovation, which is the umbrella under which WeCan has always lived. Some of you don't realize that. That's our department that we have been under. Change is happening there too. Startup Runway is no longer. Some of you might have been involved with that program. That was funded. That funding is ended along with WeCan funding. Some new things are emerging there. So I would say keep your eye on it. But that's a department in Queens, along with the Dun and Queens Innovation Center, or DDQIC, which also offers support for entrepreneurs. Again, kind of always changing, so keep an eye on what's offered in terms of programs and services. There may be something there that's a fit for you. This is Paro, who some of you have heard of Paro. It's actually based in Thunder Bay. So it's not local, and I want to highlight that fact. But it is one of the only groups that is free, that funded, that is focused on women. Okay, so there's not very many. In fact, I think that's the only one out of the ones I'm going to share right now that have a woman-centric focus. And for a lot of our weekend clients, that has been the game changer because, well, for all sorts of reasons, but that has been something that has been communicated to us. So I just wanted to highlight Para, which is national and, like I say, based in Thunder Bay. Oops. Yeah, sped right ahead. And here are some more that I wanted to add as well. Kingston Economic Development. Many of you have had experiences with them. Keys Job Center in the Quinte area. Small Business Center in Trenval. North of Kingston, Frontenac Business Services, right? And so we have these different funded programs that will continue to exist. Again, with the caveat that they're not all focused on women entrepreneurs. Nothing wrong with that. We love men. I mean, I'm married to a fabulous man for the last 30 years. I have nothing wrong, but it's a different vibe, and we know that. That's partly why we're here today. So these are some of the programs that continue to exist. All right, so I wanted to highlight that before I move on. By the way, if you know of another free or funded program or service, feel free to share that in the Zoom chat as well. So really moving forward, I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of folks, and some of you are on the call today, about what would this next phase look like for the community of women that has, assembled and grown together. And what we realized was that WeCan has kind of been known for focusing on early stage businesses, right? Again, that's very common with funded programs because people can't afford paid programs, they come to funded programs. And then some of them get hooked and you just grow with us. And I have loved seeing that. But a lot of you are now in the growth stage. If you started with us in January 2020, you are now a 6.5-year-old business or more. And so, in fact, if let us know, when did you join the Weekend Project? Let me just, see who's still awake out there. Let us know in the Zoom chat. Do you remember the year that you joined? Because some of you I know have been with us since the beginning. And that to me is just so rewarding to think about that. So what if we look at on growth stage businesses, which includes many of you? What do those growth stage businesses need, right? And I can't capture it in just 3 bullets, but here are some thoughts. Predictable recurring revenue. You've gotten your first sales. You don't need your first sale anymore. You need predictable sales. You need that steady, stable income coming in. And this is what we're hearing from our growth stage businesses. Reliable systems, structures. I'm one person. I'm a solopreneur. I can't do it all. How do I set up this business so it will work for me? That would be another example. Sustainable growth strategies, especially if you are content with being a company of one. I mean, there are some of you on the call who have teams of 10, 20, 100 people. I would say the vast majority of our weekend clients really are companies of one and they contract a lot of things out. So go ahead again, put in the Zoom chat if you'd like, what is it at the growth stage that you need? Because I'm going to save the Zoom chat anyways. This would be helpful for me to look at after. I promise it will be read. But what is it that is helpful at the growth stage? When we were looking at this, and you'll understand the word we in just a moment, we said, you know what we need is a network that is focused on growth for women, leadership as well, because you can't be a business owner without also being a leader. And so what has emerged is a new network, which is going to be launched as of June 1st. Let me iterate that. The Weekend Project continues until the end of May. I continue with the Weekend Project until the end of May. And many of you are like yesterday, I don't know how many calls I got. I got to book a coaching call before the end of May. And like we are jam packing this month of May. We are squeezing the goodness out of this month. And that's exciting. That's wonderful because that's what it's about. So let me be clear. What we're talking about here is going to start on June 1st. Okay. So this Grow to Lead Network for Women Entrepreneurs is emerging now as an alternative. It's an extension, if you will, but not, I think we've been clear, not under the Queen's banner. Okay. This is the grassroots folks. And so starts June 1st. I wanted to put that in big letters there as well. Okay. So who is behind the Grow to Lead community? And I'm very excited for you to introduce you to these folks. Some of you are on the call. And in fact, I'm going to pause my talking in just a moment to get some of you who would maybe like to share why this is something that you decided to be a part of. Let me introduce you to the folks on the screen. Many of you know Lisa Henderson from House of Three, Tammy Watson from Canadian Handywoman, Kauru Miller from Cha Cha Tea, Victoria Hurst from Victoria Hurst Coaching, Martha Williams from Pedalworks Cafe and Studio, Claire Beach from The Wild Edge, Chantel Valkenberg from CC Weddings and Events, Jade Bazassi from Emotional Intelligence Consulting, Aileen Edwards from AME Consulting, Caitlin Eves from Caitlin Alyssa Inc., Stacy Rock from Straight Up Leadership, Shauna Slobodian from Positively Fit Canine Rehabilitation, Ophelia Rogo from the Shine Club and Real Talk Solutions, and Jen Dawson from Jen Dawson Coaching. All right, did I freeze there? Oh, I see. Oh, I'm back, I think. Okay, so these 14 women, are forming what we call the Grow to Lead Advisory Circle. Because what was of interest, and again, where did these women come from? Well, they filled out the survey for one thing, and they indicated both on the survey and anecdotally through conversations and messages that they were not ready to let this weekend project end, that they wanted to be a part of whatever was next. And at the like initially we're like, I don't know what this will be. What can it look like? So these 14 women, plus myself as the community leader, plus the incredible Cheyenne O'Driscoll as our program lead, have come together as a team now to say, we believe that this community has a lot more mileage in it. And so as of June 1st, we want to make sure that we go ahead and don't let things just disappear overnight. And you'll notice here that there is absolutely no time uh, between. We're not like this is going to launch in September. Because you know what's going to happen in all summers? People are going to go a million different ways and we're going to lose each other. And what we heard very strong and clear through the surveys and all these conversations is that this community, the women you have been a part of for this, whether it's 1 year or 6.5 years, this community itself takes a long time to build. Can I get an amen? This takes effort. This takes a lot of investing your time. You guys, not just through the weekend stuff, but you have had coffee chats. You have developed business besties. You have created your own masterminds, all of these things. And to start over from scratch is really tough. So I want to turn over to any of those 14, actually 15 with Cheyenne. Actually, Cheyenne, maybe I'll get you to start as the program lead, and then anyone else who's on the call, and not all 14 of those women could be with us today. Some are traveling, etc. Cheyenne, do you want to just kick it off? I guess the question I'm going to throw it is why? Why continue? And what do you see ahead for this?
So I'm one of those people, I think I came into Weekend in 2020. And as my own business has grown, I have seen working with so many of you that are on the call, how much growth is a mindset as well as a skill set. So when Carrie and I were talking about this, the opportunity to bring in programming and workshops and events that are going to help us in this stage was something I was so incredibly excited about. I think it's something a lot of us are craving. And that same community and connection piece is the foundation of it all. So I'm incredibly excited about it.
And she's, of course, Cheyenne is super modest. That girl is a genius. Just wait till the curriculum unfolds that she has planned. Ooh, I'm excited to learn from it. Someone else maybe who's on the call from the advisory circle, just put your hand up. That might be the best way if you want to use your reaction button. And we'll just have to keep moving fast, so don't be shy. Stacy, I'll let you go next.
Sure. Thanks, Carrie. Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to be with everybody this morning. It's so nice to have one last opportunity to be together. When I think of the community, I think of generosity. And so that's what's really drawn me forward to be a part of it and to be part of the advisory. I've told Carrie this and Cheyenne this many times is like, if I didn't have Weekend at the beginning of my journey, I wouldn't be here with the business that I have today. And so an opportunity to sit with people in growth stage and really have that community again, to have continue in a structured way is why I was so excited that something is going to be continuing and that we get to shape it. So that's me.
And many of you have seen Stacey, she's delivered workshops for us again. The engagement of this advisory circle already in Weekend, I call them Weekend famous, because you know them already. Lisa, over to you. Thanks, Stacey.
Yeah, I was really excited when Carrie approached me as well. Mostly that it was continuing in some format. uh, this group got me through COVID. I actually had met Carrie before Weekend actually even started, way back when we both taught. And she helped me with my business back then. So it was a great fit right from the beginning. And it is what navigated me through COVID. And I think that right now, our general economic environment is going back to similar, if not even more difficult than what COVID was. And I think having this support network is going to be crucial to get us all through that as much as possible.
Mm, love that. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa. Jen, over to you. Jen Dawson.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to actually send you all a big virtual hug. This has been an incredible community, and similar to what's already been said, I was not willing to let go of it yet. And with the timing of the world, what's happening in our world right now, I think we need each other even more. So sending you lots of strength and can't wait to take this to the next level.
Mm, yeah. Next level. I love it. Someone made the mention, they said, it feels like we're graduating and now we're going to so next it's not untrue in some ways. Ophelia, yes. Ophelia, over to you.
For me, I just wanted to say as I'm here today, I was thinking when I started, it was just a little bit after. So it was in 2020. And for me, having this is so instrumental. One, it's that when you go from being a new business to a growth business, a lot of the funding opportunities or a lot of the things, you have to be making $100,000, you have to be making this. There's so much restriction for the support.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to give that up. I didn't want to give up this connection of community that has been naturally and organically created, because one of the things that I really got from Weekend is when I'm struggling with something, when I need, I just can email Carrie. I've met people that I can refer to in my life that I naturally trust.
Mm.
So I didn't want to give that up. So if the reason that I didn't want to lose the people that I've met and having that monthly connection and something. So and looking forward to continuing to share and grow our business, because being an entrepreneur is hard enough, but having a community that supports us behind the scenes is essential. And that's the only way that my business grew to where it is today.
I love it. And many of you have benefited from Ophelia's teaching, even in the Weekend Project. Stay tuned for more to come. Tammy, over to you. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
I think my biggest takeaway is you guys are all my people. Like, and I just can't give that up. And it would hurt so much. I I think it was Lisa Henderson who introduced me to Weekend on my front yard just before we were shut down, just before the world was shut down. So it's kind of funny that we're both on the advisory council as well. But honestly, I've been able to work with, to entertain with, to refer, to be referred, to grow. If when realizing that how much our businesses connect to us, like to as a person, like the personal growth. I just can't imagine not having that network, and I literally mean a network to help catch me whether I'm spiraling or to celebrate when I'm growing. So thank you
Mm.
for having us for the last 5 years, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Likewise. Thanks, Tammy. Martha, over to you.
I'm kind of reiterating what everyone else has said. I think that there's something really special about a group of women that are like-minded in the sense of being an entrepreneur. It is a different mindset. I think we're all crazy a little bit, but that's all good, right? And I think the really great thing is that when I am like on Monday, whatever, it was Monday, right? When we had our goal setting, and I just had my word vomit of how horrible everything is. And by the end of it, I was lifted up by some amazing humans and specifically women. Women are really special, and women in business, I think, are another notch of special. And I am honored to be around entrepreneurs. Yesterday, I just sat back, and Stacy came in and took class. I had Victoria, who was teaching at Pedalworks Cafe and Studios. And then I ended my day with Ophelia. So I was like, you know what?
Oh,
There's obviously something really beautiful about these women that I have met and connected
wow.
with. And I am so grateful to be able to support and continue with all of you.
Oh, we love you, Martha. And of course, we're going to be at Martha's Pedalworks Cafe and Studio on May 29th for our wrap up. One more, Aileen, and then if there's others of the advisory circle that want to speak later, we'll make time, but we'll move forward just so people get all the details of what this is. Aileen, over to you.
Sure, I'll be quick. I started in February 2020, so just after you, so 6.5 years as well. And I was still working in corporate in Toronto, but I live in the community here in Quinte West. So my goal was to really expand here in this community. So I was fortunate enough to connect with We Can and connect with this wonderful community of individuals. And I reiterate what everybody else has said about the support that I've had and received. I was able to coach some of you ladies here on the screen, which was really amazing. I've done some workshops. I've really gotten to know everybody, and it's been great to have the support. And Martha, you're right. There's something special about women supporting women that nothing else will top. And that's all I have to say. I'm really excited to continuing this for other women who we can help moving forward.
I love it. So thank you. Just a few words also to give you a chance to hear somebody besides myself. Tammy, can you nod if you can see my screen again? It's full because I just see you were the first one on my radar there. Thank you. Okay, so Grow to Lead Network for Women Entrepreneurs is the official name. And as you can hear, the wealth of wisdom and experience that just those 14 bring to the table, not to say all the others who are going to be involved. This is going to continue to be a place where we share all of our knowledge, all of our expertise, and in the end, it makes us all richer. So obviously, there's going to be some differences, right? What's the same? What's different? So as you've heard, same amazing community members, plus some new ones. There are people who are going to be a part of this we haven't met, and that's important as well, that it continues to grow. So feel free to spread the word as we're talking today. Well, not during this call, later. We are going to certainly continue with the same high quality of woman-led programs, training, and events focused on topics that you and I, have never heard discussed sometimes in other circles. And if you've been a part of Weekend, you know exactly what some of those topics have been. But you've heard from the circle themselves in terms of the types of support that they've found when they're in that women-centric type of an environment. And again, you're still going to have leadership that is passionate about supporting women in business, and that continuity, I think, of the same folks not the same. It's not like we're not letting in new members. Let me be very clear about that. If this is your first time, you've been on a Weekend call, we want you there too. Okay. So you can be a part of this. But those are going to be some of the things that are the same. So the main difference here, obviously, is that there's going to be two membership levels. There's going to be one that's free. That's the good news for any business that's in its early stage, that sincerely cannot afford to pay for a membership. There's all sorts of memberships out there. There's chamber memberships and all sorts of one. And trust me, we've taken a look at the gamut of all of them to make sure that this is standing out in not only in our region, but in our province and in the way that we do things. So the second level is the paid level. Now, this will not be a surprise to people who filled out the survey, because on the survey, we asked very pointedly, would this be something that's of interest? Because at that time, back in February, March, it was like, if we continue this, we can't do it for free. It's just, I mean, there's a part of it, as you'll hear, which we can be done for free, but not to the level that we have seen happen. That just can't happen. And so what would this look like? And so we gave people a range of monthly payment fees, etc., just to play with them. Most people said they would pay more than $25 a month, but we wanted to make sure that we made it accessible. And so we have set just these two levels. There's the free access, and so I'll tell you now what's in the free access. So we have basically free access is going to be focused on the Facebook group, the Hub. Okay, many of you know it, love it. It's a place where you post free workshops and events. You have posted, and our structure is one per month, right? So that everyone has a chance. Unlimited questions, like people are always posting there. I'm stuck on this point of sale system. Does anybody know a good accountant? I don't know, all sorts of recommendations and referrals. You've seen them happening. This continues in the group. Cheyenne is actually going to be throwing in some monthly growth challenges to that group. So we're actually increasing the curriculum value of the group. So stay tuned for that to launch in June. And then, of course, just the unlimited connections that come with being a part of that group and some of the conversations that happen, that might happen outside of the group. But that hub is going to be free, continue to be free. And I want to make sure that nobody thinks we're going to eject them from the group. They're going to continue to see that. All right. So that was the decision made that, and again, in speaking with all 15 of these folks and getting their input. So what's the paid access? So everything that we saw in the free access, which basically is that Facebook group and all the connections that happen in there, plus I will be continuing Goal Setting Circle. Okay, to me, I have an ethical problem with stopping goal setting in June. I'm like, but the whole year is still to come. So that is something we started. We're going to end it. And the good news is that if you have not been a part of the Goal Setting Circle, but you become a growth member, a paid growth member, then you absolutely can join as of June. So that's the good news. Here's what I'm excited about. And that is that not only at the beginning of the month are you going to have the goal setting circle, but the end of the month, Cheyenne is going to do a KPI review session. So Cheyenne, I'll actually get you to come off mute. Do you want to just explain what that KPI, I'll put you on the spot. What is that KPI review session? It's a 1 hour at the end of the month. It's on a Friday. Do you want to let us know what they would find in there?
So as we all know, it's setting the goals sometimes is only half of the battle. What we're going to do towards the end of the month is review our key performance indicators. What were the key pieces we need to move forward and how did they perform so that we can use that to inform how we set our goals for the following month.
Right. And so, as early stage businesses, this has probably not ever been as important as for growth stage businesses because now we're tracking. Now we know what our metrics are. So, I kind of joked with Cheyenne that I'm going to show up to use that as my co working time to actually find my metrics. And so, that hour once a month, I know I'm going to be dealing with my metrics. So, super excited that those book-ended things will happen. Within that Facebook group, we're also going to allow something we've never allowed before, and that is for our paid members to actually post revenue generating posts, one per quarter. So let's say, I'll use Aileen because she's on my screen right now. I can see her. Let's say she had a program she was launching and it was, I don't know, $500. Whatever it is, she can promote that as a paid member now in the group, assuming it's, relevant to the group. And we've never allowed that before. So now we're saying, hey, this is a great place once a quarter to really get some visibility and promote what you're doing. There's also going to be a lot of great workshops coming, some of them free and paid. But stay tuned. You're actually going to get the link to the first one today if you're interested in joining it. Paid access also gives you a $50 credit towards a Grow to Lead program or event. So I'll give you a couple examples of that. This summer, we have our speaker series set up. You're going to see that in just a moment. So that's a $50 price tag because we're no longer funded. So we need to put price tags on some things. So a member could say, yeah, I want to attend that summer speaker series. I'm going to use my credit. Or in September, we have an in-person event and that's going to be $50. So you can use it for that live event if you like. So you have some options there, okay? And finally, for all our paid members, we are going to be doing a free business profile on our social media and making sure that we give them some props and some exposure as well. Okay, even though maybe you have been profiled in the past, it's a new game and it's a new chance for us to shine a spotlight. So if you do the math, $25 a month actually comes to $300. But anyone who pays in full by the end of June, there's a reduction of $50, as you can see. And also, this is key. If you pay by the end of June, your membership never increases. So next year, the year after, as long as Grow to Lead continues, it's the same. And that's basically a bonus for founding members, which is what we would see anybody who joins in June. Let me reiterate, this does not start till June 1st. We do not want there to be crossover between the two. Okay, so that is something that once weekend is officially ended, this new program starts, community driven, grassroots led. This community will start as of June 1st. So what's that money for? 85% of those funds circulate back into the Grow to Lead community. That means when we meet in person, we pay for the muffins, like the muffins at the buffet. It means we can rent venue space. It means we can pay our speakers. And you know what? Some of you don't realize we haven't paid our workshop speakers for the last 3 years. That hasn't actually been in the budget. Now we want to do an honorarium again for those workshop leaders who, by the way, are going to be mostly you folks. And so that's the way we've rolled for the last 3 years anyways. And now, not only are you brilliant women, but we want to give you an honorarium. So those are just some examples. Then there's a 15-minute admin fee, which basically covers the cost of us to onboard you. So you can see that Cheyenne and I are actually going to be doing a lot of pro bono work. But we both are dialed in, and this is work that we believe in. So please do not think that this is a get rich quick scheme for anyone on this call. If you do the math, you know that it is not. It's going to cover basically Zoom fees or something like it's admin, right? And so we compared that to, pretty much all the programs available throughout the area. And that's exactly what's happening. So what is next? First of all, on June 1st, remember this is just informational. You're going to get an email invitation to join Grow to Lead. Who's going to get an invitation? First of all, not the entire weekend community. Okay, that would be spam. That would be unethical. People who have completed the survey and said, I want to continue in some form. People who are on the call today who have said, I'm interested. What's next? We are going to make sure that you have an invitation. And in fact, if you give me just a second, I'm going to stop sharing that so I can grab a link. We do have what's called an expression of interest form, right? Which I think is basically, oh, there we go. At this point, we know that people on their call are interested. So I dropped it in there. That is the expression of interest. There's some questions on there. It tells us a little bit about, do you want to continue? How would you want? So it's getting us ready for June 1st. Let's just put it that way, okay? So that comes on June 1st. And then I'm going to grab my second link here. Some of you already probably saw this workshop thing come out today, but let's go back. And then I know you probably have questions, so bear with me. I want to get through all this. June 9th is going to be actually our free workshop, the first one under the Grow to Lead banner. And so this is for everyone. This is not, if you're a paid member, doesn't matter. Why this is so important is actually it's the theme of the entire Grow to Lead network, which is this idea of the solopreneur to CEO mind shift. It's like, welcome to your CEO era. This is all about making that shift. And so that free workshop is available. You can sign up at any time. And actually, we've already had some people signing up. So that's June 9th. And then I just want to put on your radar. Oh, no, let me talk about this. That free workshop actually then serves as an announcement for our summer speaker series. And so we're going to have a speaker series that happens. There's 5 of them. And these are the women who will be leading. Aileen Edwards, Cheyenne will do one. I'll do one, Jade Bazassi, and Hadriana Leo, who many of you know as well. So over the summer, these incredible women, I'll call myself incredible, why not, are going to be delivering that speaker series. And so remember that relates again to the solopreneur to CEO mindset. Okay, so that's something to look forward to. I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what would a speaker series be like. And then just finally, I wanted to flag that we have our first in-person event planned. Very grateful to the Small Business Center and Trenval in Quinte, which is our sponsor and our funder for that event. And we will be holding it in their space. So this is how it's going to roll, right? We are still continuing to look for different funding. As you can see, it's not just based on membership fees. We actually couldn't run a network based just on membership fees. So we are continuing to look for that type of support and folks. So I've given you the expression of interest form. Please feel free to fill that out. Again, I continue to work with everyone under the weekend banner, let me be very clear, until the end of May. I'm not doing any work on terms of starting to coach or anything outside of this. June 1st is the day, but for today, we wanted to make sure you at least had a form to fill out so that you could express interest. Okay, so I wanted to now open it up really for, let me just see, was there anyone else on that advisory circle who wanted to comment? And then we're going to go into some questions. We have a good amount of time here that we can do that, which I'm excited about. Because I'm sure there are questions. And we may not have answers. I'm just kidding. At this stage, as you can tell, we aren't even out of we can. So it is going to become what it is as of June 1st. But what we wanted to do is lay a foundation so that there was no gap, because that is a disservice to everyone if we leave a 3-month gap until we start the next thing. So on this side, in a lot of evenings and weekends, this thing has been pulled together. And so very excited to share that with you as of June 1st. And to also give you some comfort to know that it's not ending, right? Because I've had no end of emails to that effect, which has largely been a reason we're holding this today. Okay, so open for questions. I have not been monitoring the Zoom chat. So If you put a question in the Zoom chat, unfortunately, I did not see it. So I'm going to ask you to just go off of mute or raise your hand. Okay, I do see Michelle's because that's the most recent. Do you have to be a paid member to go to an in-person event? Very good question. No. So there's going to be much like a chamber. There will be two price tags for our paid events. So whereas the paid members, it would be a $50 price tag. It will be more, it will be, I'm assuming it will be $75 to $100 for our non-paid members, much like a chamber would operate, right? So there will be people there who are not from Grow to Lead necessarily, but ultimately, there's the value there that they could become that. I expect we're going to draw people from outside Quinty and Kingston, even to those in-person events. But let me reiterate, the focus is hyperlocal. The focus is still on Kingston and Quinty. There may be someone from Toronto, there may be someone from Ottawa who wants to be part of the community. I don't see a downside to that necessarily because that's been sort of the reality all along. We've had all sorts of members of the weekend community. The heart and soul continues to be, and even that whole advisory circle, as you saw, is very hyper focused. I think it's also a superpower that of the original project, right? Um, you listed what membership offers. Curious access to. I'm not sure. Leah, maybe we'll pause. What does she mean by that? Oh, accessibility supports? Maybe that's what she's asking about.
Will you be providing interpreters?
So for live events, yes, that will be possible through our funders. I think that depending on the number of online events, we're going to be maximizing tools for online. But yeah, we will rely on funding versus membership fees for those types of specialized services. Great question. So if you know funders, please keep sending them our way. We do have
Always
an
looking.
agreement. Yes, we have an agreement with Small Business Center Trendval. We also have another ask that's out right now that I think will make also a big difference. So stay tuned. I'm going to look at the Zoom chat, but you can just raise your hand if you have questions or comments. It's not just that advisory circle. Like I say, those are not, the only superstars in this group. Let me be very clear. There's others, and that advisory circle has an end date. So we are constantly going to be looking for people to be our advisors, to be people giving workshops. And so if you see yourself involved in that, we also want to hear about that. So we'll give you some information. Laura, we'll go to you next.
I just wanted to say thank you, everyone, for putting this together. I think it's great. And I was just speaking at an event on Tuesday night, and it was for the professional women's group for Dress for Success. And it was the same thing. All of these women are together for 12 weeks and then it ends, and they want it to continue, but nothing is continuing for them. I was going to recommend the Weekend Project, but because I knew it was ending. So I think it's great to have something like this in the community, because I know more than just this group, there's so many women that are looking to keep that strong connection going and have that support. So it's nice to know that I can share this now with that group of women and continue to share it with people. So thank you.
Yeah, at this stage, I would say, and thanks for that, Laura. You've been an integral part of our masterminds. You've delivered workshops. And I mean, it's that continuity that gets lost with funding. And again, as growth stage businesses, we just have to start investing ourselves, right? In our own sustainable growth. And I mean, I always say when people are building business plans, because, I've coached over 800 women entrepreneurs in this community now, I'm like, grants are not in your business plan. Like, grants are nice, just much like I think of funded programs are nice. We cannot build our business on them in a sustainable way. So that's where there's sort of this empowerment that we've been building to for 6.5 years, frankly, where this group has said, we're not willing to let it go. We're actually going to take action. And I think that speaks to the depth of the commitment of this group, because it would be easy for us just to wave goodbye on May 29th. But there is something burning in the bellies of the women here that are like, no, this isn't going to happen. And so I'm very excited for that. Thanks,
I
Laura.
think
Go ahead.
it's momentum, right? When you have momentum
Yeah.
going in this level of like energy, you can't let it go. So I think I'm very proud of everyone who stepped up to move this forward.
Well, we look forward to having you part of it. That's for sure, Laura. Rebecca, over to you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, good to see you
Hi.
and some
Yeah.
familiar faces. I just Thank you, Carrie. It's incredible. I haven't been able to engage as much as I would like, but I'm excited about this, looking ahead to the future. So everyone that's on the call, just I've had the opportunity to meet some folks and really amazing stuff. I have more of a logistical kind of question, and I would be surprised if it was USD, but I have to ask that because there's so many organizations that it's USD versus Canadian dollars.
No,
Perfect.
it's Canadian.
So, I mean, that in itself is just, an incredible opportunity. So, thank you for that and all the thoughtfulness that went in behind all you and the folks organizing this and thinking about the curriculum. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, like at this early stage, we haven't even really started working on this full time, clearly, right? But we knew the date was coming. And I think as business owners, we just know we have to be a few steps ahead. Otherwise, we're not in business anymore. So this is going to flourish and come to life based on the members and based on the things that begin as of June 1st. What you're seeing today is a skeleton idea, if you will, but we really wanted to put some words and a shape around it so at least people could start visualizing and realize that there is something very exciting to come. I kind of believe it's going to be bigger than anything we've created to this point because the power of this community will be the women inside it. And we've already heard, right? So, Stacy, over to you. Thanks, Rebecca. Excited to have you involved.
I'm just wondering, I see lots of comments in the chat and people looking to share, and I was thinking about that too, of looking to share on LinkedIn or whatever. When will you have shareables
So as of
for us
June
to be able
1st,
to use?
as of June
Okay.
1st, yeah. So we want to keep a clear line between the end of the weekend project and the beginning of this new network. And so what we're doing today, we're talking about it to prepare ourselves. And because I have had no end of questions, and because, I am not going to be using my Queen's email or anything to be doing this as of June 1st. Like there's a lot of lines that need to be, minded. And so as of June 1st, I want to make sure that's why we have the expression of interest form. That's why we have the survey. But this is specifically going to be aimed as of June 1st at those folks who have expressed an interest in continuing. And then, of course, word of mouth will spread. And we definitely will rely on folks in the group. So, Stacey, that's a great point, though, to give folks something that they can share. So I'm going to make, actually, Cheyenne, could you make a note of that, that we can put that together in that email that goes out June 1st to help us as well spread the word, whether it's June 1st or June 5th. I don't know. But the email itself of commitment will go out June 1st, and we will equip the community for sure to help us spread the word. It's a great idea. Thanks. Joanne, over to you.
That was really going to be Stacey's took my question, but I thought it would be a good idea to yeah, so that's great. And I'll just add my thanks to you and to Cheyenne for stick handling this. I think it's a great idea. I really look forward to participating. This community has been so helpful for me as I've grown my business, and it's just awesome. So I'm really excited. I think it's a really great idea. Thank you for all of the hard work behind the scenes. I know how much work it is, so it's just know that it's very appreciated.
Love it. Love it. And we're going to rely on this community as well to come forward with ideas. And I mean, the advisory circle itself will help guide us initially, there's no doubt. But the whole community, everyone's voices are valued and, expect check-ins for us to say, what ideas do you have? And, all of that. So we will be an open door in that way and that's kind of how the weekend community has been shaped. There was never an intention for masterminds to happen. There was never an intention for a women's speaking circle or a goal setting circle. These things came from the community. And so that's the momentum. Someone used that word, which I really like that word. That's what we're continuing and that we're not willing to let go of for sure. Shauna, over to you.
Thank you. I first have a comment. So the reason I joined the advisory circle is because you asked, Carrie. So I figure I have something to give, but
You're a rock star.
I don't know when I joined, maybe 2023, and I didn't really participate until probably about a year ago, and I've gotten so much in the last year out of the weekend project that I regret not focusing on it sooner. My question though is like all of the content that is on the YouTube page and the Facebook group that is branded as Weekend, what happens to that? Does it disappear?
So the YouTube channel is a Queen's Partnerships and Innovation YouTube channel. So that will continue. So the great news is now we're not going to be adding anything to that. That is that's a resource. That's a library for you to go to. The 175 plus online workshops that we have done, that's there for you. Absolutely. Yeah. And so the community itself, we're thinking about whether that community will stay in the Facebook group or move to a school community. And that's SKOOL, which is an online platform. Some of you are already running school communities. So it will be an online community of some format. So I would say stay tuned for that. We're just going to be evolving it and moving it forward based on, I think, also the input of the members and, whether it's a Facebook group or whether it's a school community. But I can see us not wanting to rely too much on Meta, in the long term, especially as a paid or like, an organization has paid members. We want to make sure that that's reliable source. And so I'd say a lot of those, decisions will have to happen in the future, but yeah, I could certainly say that, that YouTube channel, that's more than a We Can project page. So all there, all going to be at your disposal to rewatch any of those. I think it was Selena. I think she's on the call today. She messaged. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I have to go back and rewatch all of the workshops." I was like, "Girl, they're still going to be there. Don't worry, they're not going away." Great question though. Sorry, I'm not looking at all the. I'm going to see if there's any Zoom questions, but if you posted a few minutes ago, I might not see. Oh, no. Jennifer's asking, do you have to reapply to QBLC? No. If you're already in their system, you can reach out to them. That's a great question, though. Huh. Yes, Selena was saying the panic was setting in. No, that did make me chuckle when I saw that. Um, Other questions? Comments? We have 2 minutes left. We've done well for 1 hour, power hour. I was a bit concerned we'd cover everything, but I think the next steps, like I said, to flag would be, well, let me just, yeah, the next steps are really just that expression of interest form. Stay tuned June 1st. And there is an email address that's been actually, I think I can share that as well. That has been established. Oh, here, the grow to lead network at gmail.com. That might be something that you want to keep track of if you're like, what's happening or I haven't heard. Just, yeah, the Grow to Lead Network. Oh, and I don't think I shared that, did I? Grow to Lead Network. Um, Sorry, I opened it on my screen and didn't share it with you. Grow to Lead Network at gmail.com. So that is, we just put together it so that we could have an alternate way for people to reach out. There's no website or anything like that. So at this point, that is the email that you'll reach out to. Okay, so I will take some time later to go through the Zoom chat. If there are questions there that weren't answered, I'll reach out to you particularly. But bottom line, we look forward to remaining in touch, growing this community far beyond the walls of one particular organization, as we've seen, and we're inspired by you, and that's why it's happening. It's because of you. And so this isn't a one woman thing by any means. This is a grassroots, community driven initiative that we cannot wait to help facilitate and move forward so that the momentum can continue. So thank you, everyone. Feel free to reach out to me if you have further questions. All right. I will have the same email for another couple weeks. But thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Take
Thank
care, everyone.
you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.